Take me to the
Okay, today's lesson is lesson number 38 from the series The Key Still Unlocks the Door. Our key verse is 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. So today we're going to be continuing to look at the phrase, and seek my face. The definition of faith, our face rather, as used in our text, was the face as the part that turns, the presence, countenance, favor, fear of, heaviness. Now, we show emotion with various parts of our body. For instance, a clenched fist in front of the face probably shows anger or, perhaps determination. And then that same fist raised overhead might signal power or victory. And have you ever seen children, when they get angry, some stomp and kick the floor or kick something. The part of our body, though, that most clearly displays emotion is our face. As emotions change, we can watch it turn. Eyes squint, eyebrows raise, nostrils flare, tears flow, cheeks blush, lips tighten, brows furrow, all showing the emotion that we feel in our mind. A multitude of thoughts and emotions can be conveyed with just the eyes alone. So I've been a substitute teacher before, and when teaching children, I've noticed that when they become unruly, they usually don't want to look directly into your eyes. So on occasion, I've made them stand in front of me until they look directly into my eyes. Now, my eyes may have shown displeasure, but I also wanted them to see in my eyes a compassion that explained that their misbehavior was not just an inconvenience to me, but it was an unnecessary inconvenience to them also. And if there was to be punishment involved, I wanted them to see in my eyes a love that explained the need for that punishment. I wanted them to see in my eyes a sincerity that backed up my words. And, I wanted them to see the authority that made it clear that I could do what I said I would. So when God said to Solomon in answering his prayer that in order for the children of Israel to get out of the hands of the enemy or out of the places of famine or that their lack of focus on him had brought them into, that one necessary step would be to seek his face. So he was saying that they needed to look into that which reveals his emotion. Thus far, they had to take a careful look at the name of God, which is defined as his monument or a memorial of his distinct and conspicuous position. And in that, they could see his emotion in relation to others. But now he wants them to experience his emotions for themselves. So notice the next word in the definition for face is presence. Now, when God came down on Mount Sinai to give the commandments to the children of Israel, they were afraid and withdrew from the presence of God. So within days then, they were dancing naked, worshiping a golden calf that they had built, and physically they hadn't moved. They were still at the foot of Sinai, where God had revealed his presence with thundering and lightning and quaking of the earth beneath their feet. But it was in the mind and in spirit that they had separated themselves from God. You see, within a stone's throw of the Mount of God, within seeing and hearing distance of his majesty and his glory, they were committing abominable and really abhorrent sins against God and against themselves. And on the other hand, there's Moses. He has descended into the cloud of God's glory. He's climbed carefully and reverently to the craggy peak where the sound of God's thunder is the loudest and the sheer brightness of his lightning is the most brilliant. So while the children of Israel are reveling in their foolishness, Moses is basking in the presence of the Almighty. While they're making their own law, their own gods, their own law, Moses is sitting in the presence of God the Creator, receiving law from the one who developed the laws of nature, the law of time and eternity. Just reading about God and the wonder of his nature, his power, his works, all that's amazing. But to sit in his presence is beyond description. To hear how others have delighted in his presence, well, that's a joy. But to do that oneself is beyond relief. A lot of songwriters have written of the joy of experiencing his presence, but I don't think any have written any phrases more beautiful than those written by the blind songwriter Fanny Crosby in her famous and oft-sung song, Draw Me Near. And I want you to listen to the words of it today as I read it. It says this: I am thine, O Lord. I have heard thy voice, and it told thy love to me. But I long to rise in the arms of faith and be closer drawn to thee. And then there's this chorus. Draw me nearer, you hear the plea. Nearer, blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me nearer, 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 blessed Lord, to thy precious bleeding side. Verse number 2 goes like this: consecrate me now to thy service, Lord, by the power of grace divine. Let my soul look up with a steadfast hope, and my will be lost in thine. But I think this last verse is one of the best ever written, and I want it to be my heart. He says, oh, the pure delight of a single hour that before thy throne I spend, when I kneel in prayer with thee, my God, I commune as friend with friend. There are depths of love that I cannot know till I cross the narrow sea. There are heights of joy that I may not reach till I rest in peace with thee. Listen, church, it's time for us to begin to seek the face of God, to see his emotions so that they become our emotions, to see the mercy, the love, the grace.